Gizzo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. And yes, Puff Daddy, you are the topic of discussion, my G. Pdiddy, you are the topic of discussion. So let's get right into it. And you already know how I do when it comes to the higher ups and the elites. You already know how I do when it comes to the higher ups and the elites. It's off with their heads. Now, Puff Daddy, he's not a higher up or elite. He's a puppet. He's a gatekeeper. You understand what I'm saying? But we're going to break this down now. Just recently, Freddy P came out and said that, him and all the other members of Making the Band haven't made $200,000 collectively. All together, they have not made $200,000. But Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Love, you understand what I'm saying, has made almost $100 million off of the whole Making the Band situation. Outrageous. You understand? And not just Freddie P, but Mase. Oh, good old Mase and Betha. You understand what I'm saying? He dropped a new song called The Oracle 2. Fire. Fire. Where he goes directly at Puffy. He goes directly at Puff Daddy's neck. And I mean, it's fire. If you haven't heard the song, go check it out. You know what I mean? I suggest you go put an ear to it, because he's not holding back. He's not holding back, and he's giving up the game. You feel what I'm saying? Salute the Mase and Betha on that one. The Oracle 2. Now, you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We coming from multiple different angles. We coming from multiple different angles. And that segues me into my first angle. And I'm going to start with Freddie P and Making the Band. You understand? Now, when I recently heard Freddie P come out and make all the statements and allegations that he made towards Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, you feel what I'm saying? It raised a red flag to me. And I'm an 80s baby, so when Making the Band was on TV, it was on MTV, it was live, I was watching it. I love that show. Me, all my friends, we all tuned in. And I gotta say, man, the first season is very telling. The first season is the initiation into the industry. You understand? Now, these guys, they had talent. They were rapping. They were picked amongst thousands of people. You understand? And before they could get to the music, Puffy made them do ritual after ritual after ritual. But back in those days, we didn't understand, and we didn't necessarily know that that's what they were being put through. We just thought it was all live TV. We thought it was all for TV. But I recently went back. You understand? I went back and I watched season 1 of Making the Band. And I suggest you all go back and watch that same season. Season 1 of Making the Band. And, Puff Daddy made these guys walk from Manhattan all the way to Brooklyn for cheesecake. Puff Daddy made these guys go out there and wash cars. Puffy made these guys basically get on their knees and beg to be in the studio, beg to be in his presence. You understand what I'm saying? And with age and maturity, I'm not gonna lie, it was very hard to watch. You understand? And I gotta say, I salute Freddie P, because when you watch that first season, you will see Freddie P giving Puffy the cold shoulder. You will see when he's in the room with Puff Daddy, how he rolls his eyes, how he literally falls asleep while Puffy is talking. You understand? He had no respect for Puffy, because I feel like even back then he felt and he knew that they were going through rituals. You understand? Now, let me break this down for you. You get put through rituals to see just how far you will go, just how much you'll let them, dehumanize you, just how much you'll let them disrespect you to be in this industry, to be involved in music. You understand? Because if you walk to, Brooklyn from Manhattan just for a slice of cheesecake, what else will you do? What else are you willing to do when you get to one of these mansion parties? Yeah, and the punch is spiked. Yeah, and it's a lot of drugs going around, a lot of reefer going around. And one of these execs touches your ass or grabs your balls like they did Terry Crews. What are you willing to do then? When they say, hey, we got a meeting in one of these rooms, and you go into one of these board rooms, and, you know, the higher ups and the elites, they're about to make you do sexual favors for that advance. They're about to make you do sexual favors. You understand? To be involved in this thing, the industry. You understand? So it starts out small. You know, go wash cars. You know, let us talk to you and disrespect you. If you're willing to take that, maybe you're willing to take some, yeah, maybe you're willing to suck on something, you know, at the end of the day to get to this check. Now, you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We coming from multiple different angles. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. You feel what I'm saying? And that segues me into my second angle, Mase in Beta. Shout out to Mase for dropping the song The Oracle 2. I suggest you go put an ear to it. It's fire. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's a couple of things in that song that Mase pointed out that I have to say something. You understand? Now, one of the things Mase said is, Cain killed Abel, but I'm able to kill Cain. And it resonated with me because Mase is one of the guys that knows some of Puffy's secrets. And he's tired. He's tired of taking the short end of the stick when it comes to the checks, when it comes to the money that's owed to him. You feel what I'm saying? And, you know, Cain killed Abel. You know, that is a shot in a remark that's referring to Biggie and Puffy. He's basically saying that, yes, Puffy killed Big, allegedly. But with the information that he knows, he's able to kill Puffy, allegedly. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a deep reference. Now, you know, with the love I have for music, I'm able to break these bars down and see through the smoke and mirrors and understand exactly what he's saying. And I thought that that was a deep bar. Cain killed Abel, but I am able to kill Cain. That is what Mase said to Puffy. That is what Mase said to Puffy. And I gotta tell you something, man. I know that Puffy has his ears open to this song. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep an eye on Mase and make sure nothing happens to him. Because when you start talking like that, when you start moving like that, you end up out of here. Yeah, you end up out of here. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV, man. It's multiple different angles. We coming from multiple different angles. And that segues me into my third angle. My third angle. And Mase said in this bar, you know, you want to starve my kids, but give my money to your firstborn. You want to starve my kids, but give my money to your firstborn. Now, that was fire and it was deep. Because what Puffy did was he gave his firstborn, is it Justin? I can't think of his kid's name. But he gave his firstborn, his son that looks just like him, he signed Mase's publishing in his name. Let me say that again. He signed Mase's publishing in his firstborn's name. So his firstborn is receiving checks up to this day off of Mase's work. That's deep. That's deep. Now, we're going to get into it because it gets deeper. You got to think to yourself, who taught Puffy how to make these strategic moves in raping your artists and taking advantage of your artists? Who taught him that? Who gave him the game? The higher-ups and the elites. Yeah, them Jew people, the higher-ups and the elites in the music business. You understand? And when they give you that game and they see that you take to it, and you're willing to do it, that's when you walk through one of the doors. Andre Harrell, you know, it's rumored that, you know, Kim Porter was going to drop a book exposing that she walked in on Puffy giving Andre Harrell that face in his office. Yeah, giving him that face. That is word in the industry. This is all documented facts if you want to do the backup, if you want to back check. So Puffy signed. And that's a whole nother video. But Puffy signed Mase's publishing in his firstborn's name. So now his firstborn, now he does the Harlem Shake and he's all out in Cali with these big checks. Where does that come from? How does that work? You understand? Like I said, shout out to Mase for dropping the song The Oracle 2. I suggest you go put an ear to it. It is fire. Now, you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We're coming from multiple different angles. Multiple different angles. And that segues me into my fourth angle. And Mase said in this song, if they never found the killer of Big, why are you living there? Let me repeat that. If they never found the killer of Big, why are you living there? And that right there was just fire, and again, resonated with me. You understand? Because if you live through the East and West Coast beef, if you live through the East Coast and the West Coast beef, you'll remember somebody was trying to kill those guys. Not just Big, but Puffy as well. Not just Big, but Puffy as well. And somehow Biggie ends up dead. After Biggie ends up dead, soon enough, years later, Puffy is running all over Los Angeles, free as a bird. And mind you, they never found the killer. So don't you think that, hey, maybe the killer is still out here? Maybe the killer is still looking for us? How is it that somebody killed Big in LA? You feel me? Somebody smoked Biggie. Puffy says he has nothing to do with it. He knows nothing. The killer had never been found. To this day, we're still seeing unsolved mystery stories about who killed Big. And Puffy is just running around LA like he owns it. I mean, fire. But again, he's exposing. He's not exposing just the higher ups and elites, but he's exposing their gatekeepers. See, they put the gatekeepers in front of us to hide their hand and to wash their hand. Yeah. He said something else too. He said, you know, pay Mrs. Wallace what Biggie is really worth. You're just a professional at selling and marketing death. He said this. And if you go on my past videos, you'll hear me say the industry has mastered marketing death to our people. They have mastered it. And, you know, it started with Biggie and Puff. The East Coast, West Coast beef, how they just blew it up, how they monetized it. And then they killed both artists and snatched up all the money. All the money that Biggie made, his mom would be a billionaire right now. Yeah, or close to it. But somehow, Puffy is still reaping the benefits of Biggie's work. And Mase, again, if you was around to see this stuff in real time, Biggie died and Mase was next up. After Mase, there was nobody else. He said that as well in the song. After him, who was big as them? He knew, and he walked away. He walked away and went to the church. And back in those days, it was mind-boggling. We didn't understand how an artist as big as Mase, at the top of his career, could just walk away from everything, run to Atlanta and start a church. But it's because he saw the devilish ways of the higher ups and the elites and their gatekeepers. He saw the devilish ways of the industry, and it spooked him. It scared him. You have to pick a side, good or evil. And he picked a side, and it wasn't evil. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know, we coming from multiple different angles. Multiple different angles, my G. And I'm going to say this. This leads me into my fifth and my last angle on this situation. You know, and Mase just said that, you know, you should change your name from Love because love doesn't steal. Let me say that one more time. You should change your name from Love because love doesn't steal. Yeah. And let's dig into that. You know, Puffy always changed his name. P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know what I'm saying? It's multiple different names when it comes to this guy, right? But his last name that he changed to is Love. And I always felt like that was him trying to find some kind of refuge, some kind of peace in all the BS that he's done, all the devilish things he's done to get that money that he has. You know, look at his track record. It's not one artist that comes out and says, hey man, Puffy changed my life. You know, he's never stole from me. He's never did me wrong. I have my publishing. He only done good business with me. You understand what I'm saying? So when Mase says you should change your name from Love because love doesn't steal, yeah, Puffy has stole from everybody he's done business with as far as in the music business, as far as his artists. All of the people that he's done business with, you can't find one that is stand up, but you find multiple upon multiple upon multiple people saying Puffy robbed them, saying Puffy stole their publishing. Shout out to the LASTST. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, it gets deep. It gets deep and it gets wicked when you dealing with the gatekeepers and you dealing with the higher reps and elites. You understand what I'm saying? Another thing he said is these artists will sell their souls to go to these brunches, but turn sweet when they drinking them punches. Oh man, I almost fell out my seat. I almost fell out my seat because again, he's making a reference to the things you have to do to be in the industry. You know, you go to these brunches and they got the punch spiked, get you all high and lead you to one of them rooms, lead you to one of them board meetings. Yeah. And now they got video you taking in in the back, taking it from the back, giving face. Some of the hardest, toughest, roughest artists, the higher ups and elites have video. They have evidence of these guys giving face or taking face. And that's why they can't say anything. Think about all the artists that has been robbed by Mr. Love and Bad Boy. And they won't speak up because these artists, you know, they know if they say something, they'll be exposed. Maybe they were drugged. You understand what I'm saying? All type of different ways it happens, how they get you to walk through one of those doors. And when you walk through one of those doors, it's being recorded. Nori said it best. Hey man, it's 3 doors. You know, you got one door I think is sacrificial. The next door, you know, I think is some homo stuff. And then the other door is you leave and you do it on your own. You go independent. But back in those days, independence wasn't even an option. You wouldn't get radio play. You wouldn't get a video on BET Uncut. You wouldn't get anything going if you didn't have a label. It's different now. Times have changed. You understand? But back in those days, again, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to make this a long one, but it's a deep and wicked situation. Mase also said, you know, Coach K and P follow you. You're supposed to be teaching them. Instead, you teach them treachery. Whoa. Again, where did Puffy learn this treachery of the music industry at? Who taught him to take the publishing? Who taught him to rob the artists? The higher ups and the elites. The people right above Puffy. The people right above P. Diddy. Yeah. Yeah, it gets deep. And when you start digging in, it's a rabbit hole. You fall down that rabbit hole, man, it's never ending. Never ending. Not one person has ever stood up and said, hey, I'm not going to let you guys disrespect Puffy. He is the mastermind of my career, and he's done nothing but be honest and do great business with me. Ever. Not just him, but, you know, Jay-Z. You know, that's a whole nother video. But how many people have said Jay-Z's done great business for me? You know what it takes to become a billionaire on this land? It takes treachery. You know what it takes to become a billionaire on this land? It takes rape. Yeah. Yeah, you're not gonna, you know, you gotta think, you should think twice in your head. Do you want to be a billionaire? Do you want to do what it takes to get millions? Are you willing to do what it takes? So, you know, you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV, man. You could tap in or you could tap out. But you know my slogan. You know what I suggest? And I suggest you tap in. I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Straight off the brick into the bottle. Straight raw, pure, uncut. No extras, no preservatives. You know, we ain't sugarcoating nothing and we ain't dressing nothing up puffy. We giving it to you straight raw. And shout out to Freddie P, man, for standing up. You know what I'm saying? David and Goliath. You understand what I'm saying? Exposing his situation with Puffy. Exposing that they haven't even seen 200,000 collectively as the band. That is crazy. But Puffy has seen 100 million. Yeah. Shout out, you know, to Mase and Betha for just going down the line of different situations with him and Puff Daddy, Pdiddy. You know what I'm saying? I just went through them all. I'm not going to go through them all again. Rewatch the video. You understand what I'm saying? And shout out to all my investors. Everybody investing their time and energy in this channel. We only going up. It's constant elevation. And we're going to cut the heads off the higher ups and the elites. We're going to expose that at all times. So you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And yeah, you can tap in or you can tap out. But you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Gang.